Fear and competition can be your best friend.
Season 3 of the Little Bricks podcast is back. We've got some amazing guests. Can't wait for you to see them. We're going to be speaking mental health, addiction, recovery, sales, business, sports, all sorts of topics. Distraction kills dreams. With the people you spend time with, you will become. Tough times don't ever last, but tough people do. I cannot wait to share it with you.
This week's episode of the Little Bricks podcast is sponsored by Bespoke Financial Group, the UK's #1 life insurance broker, helping protect your little bricks too.
Thank you, Matt Sapaula of PHP, the 7-Figure Squad, for coming on the podcast. Thank you so much. I'm a huge fan. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, Matt.
By the way, I'm very excited here. You are, Lee, the very first person to interview me from England. So you're the first two. We're going to be first two is a big deal with our company, who's the first to do it, and you are right now. So anyway, a little bit about me, quick 30 seconds. Former United States Marine Corps veteran. I served 8 years from 1991 to 1999. I served a few years after that in the Army National Guard in Illinois. I stumbled across insurance in my last year of active duty and became a single father of 3 children. And thankfully for the opportunity of entrepreneurship in the field of the insurance industry, I was able to manage 3 children in my household and put them through the best schools and give them better opportunity because of what free enterprise and the promise of capitalism in the insurance industry provides. So first generation immigrant family here in America from the Philippines. And so excited to put a flag in the ground for the Philippines and inside the insurance industry. I don't think anybody's known about that in terms of our people. We're known as more nurses and doctors and possibly accountants and engineers, but very rarely are they entrepreneurs or life insurance agents.
Amazing. Thank you so much. You've got a great wrestler in Dave Bautista as well, and now an actor who wrestles Filipinos. So fantastic. You said about being an immigrant there. Do you feel like there's a pattern of people, coming to a new country, seeking a new life, and then going on to be really successful entrepreneurs? Is there a pattern there? Is there a theme behind that, do you feel?
I think it's the same pattern that many people who inherit wealth face to as well, as compared to the generation that actually established the wealth. So when, a family comes to another country to pursue their dream, to pursue a better lifestyle, to do more for them in another country than it was provided in a former country, I think there's a different level of appreciation and gratitude and seriousness when it takes advantage of an opportunity versus the ones that were raised here. They were born in America. All they know is America. They really have no perspective or context. So I think you're right. I think there is a pattern for those that come to the United States and establish it versus the ones that maybe inherit in the second or third generation.
Superb. Thank you. Fantastic explanation, by the way. So,
I appreciate that, man.
The Marines, what was that experience like? And have you carried much from that career, from that schooling, that lifestyle into business? Has it helped you?
I do not regret a second I spent in the United States Marine Corps. I was 17 years old. I think it raised me. It got me a level of seriousness. It helped me shape an identity of who I was as a man, as a warrior, as a future husband, as a future father. It gave me a sense of appreciation for coming back home to America. It gave me a sense of perspective where I go to different parts of the world and realize that, man, they don't even have running water. They don't even have paved streets. They don't have law. They don't have cops. There is no 911. Right. And so we are the 911. The Marines were the 911. And so when I look at that, that scenario, I 100% value. If I'm going to struggle somewhere in the world, I'd rather struggle in the United States of America. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way too about your country. But, I value the United States of America and the opportunities provided. It's different when, there's a saying, there's a different taste of freedom for those that fought and bled for it. And when I came home, kissing the ground, man, a different story. Do I translate a lot of things that I had from, the typical person would say, teamwork and hard work ethic and toughness. I think, Lee, what I brought from the military was not just those cliche things, but more specifically, the ability to work with different types of people, not caring where they were raised, not caring what the color of their skin was, not caring who they prayed to, not caring what their sexual orientation was. We just had to get a job done. And regardless if you prayed to whoever you prayed to, loved who you want to love, all good, knock yourself out. Now you better be able to take some jokes. So, if you want to be different than everybody else, you have to expect, you got to be able to tell some jokes, which I think a lot of people in America are so sensitive today. But there's just difference of translating that also from an insurance type of leadership, an entrepreneurial type of leadership where people don't have to listen to you. So, coming out the military, you got to listen to me because I'm your sergeant. I'm a drill instructor. I'm in charge of you, right? Or your life is on the line. So that's one style of leadership, military leadership. But the leadership style in a civilian world, non-military, for people who never served in the military, or have never approached life that seriously anyway, I think it's a different form of leadership, greatly a different form of leadership, because people want to follow you, not because of your title, but because what you can do for them and what you stand for.
Super. I love that. So a couple of points to touch on there. Being a leader of entrepreneurs, salespeople, which is what we are, right? Is selling life insurance, helping people. In England, we call it self-employed. So the tap into us as an entrepreneur, I guess, and we help them build up their brand and to have a fantastic career. It's a great industry. The challenges manage, especially post-COVID, challenging self-employed people, entrepreneurs, is really difficult for us. And you've got this new, it gets called the snowflake society, because you can't take a joke, you can't say that. I want to work from home. What's that challenge been like in the US?
I think what's going to happen, and you're definitely going to feel it because we are living in a global economy. If the United States of America faces a recession, well, guess what? Our friends in England, you'll face it too. Our friends in Europe will face it too as well. Our friends in the European Union will face it too as well, because we're such an intertwined global economy. I do think, Lee, the last couple of years, a lot of people got lazy. A lot of people got cocky. A lot of people thought that, they thought they were worth more than what they really are. And who's competing with us? The government's competing with us. Because some people say, well, if you're not going to pay me what I think I'm worth, well, I'll get paid more through the United States government, through unemployment checks and COVID checks and federal tax, child tax type of payments, and et cetera, et cetera. They're going to be in for a rude awakening when this correction comes around. Because when a recession comes around, here's what happens. It's harder to get access to capital. Businesses either shut down or they retract or they regress. They lay off people that had fat salaries, they get fired or let go. There's not enough jobs to go around. So there's a lot of ripple effects that goes on. And I think a lot of these people will be humbled greatly, thinking that, they got very cocky. And my message to you, keep polishing your resume. Keep polishing your resume, because what happens during a recession, I faced this 2 times now. I faced this in 01, 02 during the dot-com bubble, and I faced this again in 08, 09 during the Great Recession. Most people get humbled in recession. And sadly, the world has not experienced a recession in the last 10, 12 years. We might have had a flash crash during the beginning of COVID, because everybody, remember that March of 2020, everybody just kind of freaked out. And we had a little bit of a dip in the market and a lot of people got scared, but boom, stimulus money, more money for everybody else. So a lot of people say, well, I don't have to worry so much. And who knows, that may have warded off for a minute a great correction in the market. But one thing for sure, Lee, what I've experienced, I remember people in real estate, I remember people in stocks, I remember people in day trading. Everything goes to crap during a recession, but the life insurance industry.
Amen.
Everybody flights to safety. Right. And that's what the insurance industry is all about, flight to safety. That's why some of these insurance companies have been around for hundreds of years. Yep. Matter of fact, the reason why America has life insurance is because of your cousins out there, the Lloyds of London, established life insurance because of the transatlantic trade. So insurance was created. Mm-hmm. And so insurance has been around since the Italian days, the Roman Empire. At the Italian days, the Roman Empire. When the military soldiers retired from the Roman army, they gave them an annuitatum, which today is called annuity, which many people call a pension. So insurance has been around for 2,000 some years. But here's what will go away. Stock value will go away. Here's what will go away. A lot of crypto will go away. A lot of NFTs will go away. A lot of people that had fake money, not to say that those things are fake, because I do think that there's some form of cryptocurrency that is going to evolve. It just might not be Bitcoin, may not be Ethereum, the big ones that we're thinking about. But fake money is lost. during a recession? Like legit money, serious money, solid money is exposed. And who's built that over generations? The insurance industry.
Yeah, I love it. And of course, I started the insurance game at my lowest ebb. Sales accepted me. The insurance gods smiled upon me. A gentleman from your hometown in Chicago, your place in Chicago, W. Clement Stone, Corman Insurance, when he set up that business, amazing. And then principles in that book, the success system that never fails, is something that I still live by now. And insurance is a great game, right? Because it's easy entry. You don't have to go to university for 10 years. But you'd have to buy stock. You don't have to pay for logistics of the stock. Literally hone your skills, work hard, become a good people person. And I think a good thing here is what I want to ask you about is acceptance that I'm a salesperson. Because in England, a lot of these people go, oh no, I'm an advisor. Bullshit, you're a salesperson. I'm a sales professional. I'm really good to myself. So tell us what you look for in a great salesperson, Matt, when you're recruiting and PHP are looking to build the business. What type of characteristics do you look for in a great salesperson?
I look for those people that know how to listen, that aren't, of course you got to pitch, right? But there's timing in when to pitch. I look for the ability for a salesperson to listen and look and ask investigative journalist type questions about what their problems are and what their current solutions are to fixing that problem. I look for them to find out what the person has done in addition to the counselors that they have around and giving them advice and guidance on fixing the problem that they currently have. And then when there is no solution that the customer, the prospect is potentially undertaken, there's no advisors or counselors that the person has asked to, then the salesperson comes in, well, would you like one? Would you like one? And I think through asking questions and educating yourself about the customer and not being the edgy, pushy type person, but at the same time too, I love when salespeople challenge and help people understand that, listen, it's not about the product or the industry that I represent, but you just told me you have a problem. Regardless if you do business with me or not, you still got a problem. Now you can blow me off. You may not like me. I'll refer you to somebody you may like you might like better, but you still got a problem. And so of course, there's another way to say that with class and levity and making sure that that the person feels understood. I'd rather a salesperson be more interested in somebody than trying to be interesting. I don't know if that makes sense.
Totally.
But I think salespeople today, the world goes around because of salespeople.
Always.
There's entrepreneurs don't start the business without selling to somebody why they need to invest in their company. Politicians don't become politicians unless they sell why they should be voted into office. Lawyers don't get their clients off a case if they don't sell to the jury or to the judge the lack of evidence that justifies a guilty verdict. I think a doctor knows how to sell why a patient should have some form of treatment based on other treatments available. I think if you're in a relationship, you're in sales. You have a boyfriend, girlfriend, you're in a marriage, you're parents, you're in sales. Yeah. But it's oftentimes people think too, Lee, that in sales, somebody, in order to win, somebody has to lose. Like you're taking resources from somebody and you're stealing that to sell you or whatever in order for you to elevate yourself. No, I think the best sales is win-win situation. The first win being the customer, the client. The second win being the salesperson, and ultimately the manufacturer, the company that created the product.
Amazing, yeah. I love that. I agree with so much you've just said. I think selling's a very human thing to do. The book, Daniel Pink, fantastic. And we've entered an era now where it was always buyer beware, because you've got the information and that scares me of you. And salespeople were always like, we've got a show called Only Fools and Horses. Del Boy, he was a real wheeler dealer. Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. But actually, because of the internet, because of social media, it's such an educated marketplace now that when you invite a client in to collaborate and just guide them through your experience, showcase your expertise, you get win-win situations, right? And if you do it well, the win goes on and on because you can get referrals. So it's fascinating. How do you so PHP, can you tell us a little bit about that company? Because what you and the main man have done is just amazing and real pioneers for us. It's just fantastic to watch because You seem like really good guys as well to go with that. So I'd love to learn more about the company, please.
For sure. PHP Agency stands for People Helping People, founded by Patrick Bet-David, host of Valuetainment, in October 2009, which was right in the middle of a recession. So, if people don't think they can make a lot of money throughout a recession, listen, the future millionaires and even the future billionaires are being birthed right now. The seeds are being planted, the future multimillionaires and billionaires, because anytime there's a tough time, most people run away. The visionaries run towards the noise and identify the opportunity. And that's what Patrick and David did. And so it started with 66 agents. And today, in the recording of this podcast, is 2022. We have a little over 20,000 agents across the country. The demographic of our agency in terms of ethnic and the diversity, equity, and inclusion report, 43% of our company is Latino. Approximately 34% is African American. 54% of our sales force are women, which is by the way, these numbers, those three stats I just told you, in America, it's actually opposite with the regular traditional insurance industry. Less than 5% of the insurance industry are women. Less than 5% is multicultural. But yet 20,000 of our agents, I believe we're leading the industry in recruitment of multicultural agents, African-American, Latino, Asian, and women into the insurance industry. So when you go to our conference, Lee, by the way, if you're ever in America and you're kind enough to have me as a first to interview in England, if you ever come out here to Las Vegas and you're out here August 10th to the 13th, we got our annual convention at Las Vegas at the MGM Grand Arena. Wow. And so we got people like Nelly opening up the performance. We got Shaq as our headline speaker. We got Layla Ali. We got Kurt Warner, NFL Hall of Famer. We've got the Norman Magic Show in Vegas, Penn and Teller, doing a private show just for our organization. So we had a former president, first financial marketing organization to bring a former United States president alive to our event. That was President George W. Bush. Wow. He came out to our event. The late, great Kobe Bryant came out to our event. So we just want to introduce our field force that's majority multicultural, middle class, into a bigger identity of what the best the world has to offer and how the insurance industry and how the world of entrepreneurship can get them there.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And was that an invite to your conference?
That was 100% an invite. You make your way out here. You make your way out. You put yourself up. I have a ticket just for you.
God bless you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. It'd be an honor. Thank you.
All right, you got to leave.
How do you recruit? Because we've got a theory in our place, Bespoke, right? We're the best in the UK. You're the best in the USA, and we look to you guys for inspiration. That's been a change for me because I grew up from a poor background, and you have a scarcity mentality. I always thought the rich are stealing from us. They've got they take from us. They know something we don't know, and we've programmed and conditioned. Money doesn't grow on trees. Who do you think you are? And get yourself back. All these things that we get told. A book that I read from yourself, T. Harv Eker. I learned about that off your recommendation. Amazing book, right? We always think in sales over here, apart from product knowledge and working hard and having integrity, is being able to prospect, make calls. That's an art that's dying because nobody wants to pick up the phone, text, social media. Being able to close a sale, just ask. Being able to get referrals, because our whole business, we help people become independent, not dependent. That's so important. Something else I took from you guys. Marketing, social media, which you guys just lead the way. I think it's fantastic what you do. And the final one there is recruitment, because recruitment is so powerful. It doesn't mean giving people a job, but it's offering people an opportunity to introduce business to you, get involved, help you, help their family. How do you guys recruit?
When we're talking to a potential candidate, a prospect that may fit our mold, you just got to talk to somebody's pain. You got to talk to somebody's dreams. Oftentimes people work so hard and earn so little. And in a land of opportunity, the land of the free and the home of the brave, the American culture, the way, what makes America America is that we don't like getting told what to do. It's right. That's all part of the American journey. And that's why people come to America for the American dream. Because a lot of people's dreams aren't coming true in a lot of different countries. It's not coming true for a majority of my Filipino cousins and in the Philippines too as well. They work very, very hard. And for example, our own nanny, for a period, when we hired our nanny the proper way through the immigration, to immigrating a nanny over here, I didn't want to separate the family. She had a husband, she had a 10, 11-year-old son. I didn't want to bring them. And then my mother said, no, Matt, listen, no, give them the job. If they're the best person for the job versus anybody else around, you should give them the job. I said, why should I give them the job? I've been deployed. I don't like having family separated. She says, no, you're not separating the family. You're bringing them to America for the American dream. And so, make a long story short, she came over here 6-8 months later. Finally, the husband and the son's here. And we're doing it the right way. We're doing the immigration route, the legal route, and I'm just casting a dream. And the husband's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen a Rolls Royce before. He sits in a Rolls Royce. And to me, I'm thinking, it's kind of normal to me because I've owned it for a couple of years, but yeah, I guess some people never have seen a Rolls Royce before. Shoot. I remember those days, right? And so I'm never out of touch. Like Lee, if you ask me, who do I relate to today? From the background I came from, no college degree, no rich family. Who do I relate to more today in 2022 as somebody who's already a multimillionaire? Do I relate more to the billionaires or do I relate to somebody making 15, 20 bucks an hour? You know what I tell you, Lee? I relate to somebody making 15, 20 bucks an hour.
Wow.
Not the billionaires, because I know what that struggle is like. And because most people don't have somebody reaching out their hand. If you see our logo, right? If you see our company logo, there's hands, right? There's a hand willing to pick you up to the next level. And that's what we do. That's how we recruit people. I'm not trying to recruit you to financial services. I'm not trying to, for most people, they don't want to sell insurance. They don't want to make phone calls. They don't want to do a lot of things that a sales career or a business career will cause you to do, but they want to live their dream. And people are willing to do the work if they realize that they can live their dream and fix the pain that they're feeling in their life. They're willing to do whatever it takes if they feel that pain great enough. And if we expose the people, here's what you're doing, but what you're doing is not going to get you to where you want to go. Here's an alternative. We'll work with you on a part-time basis, transition to full-time. You meet us 50% of the way. You do your part. We'll definitely do our part. You're not the first person to desire to make $100,000 a year, nor will you be the last making it. Come on in. This is an industry that will provide systems and training and support and an environment and a culture that you may not find elsewhere. You might not even find it at your job. Shoot, you might not even find it in your family. And what happens, Lee, people come in here and it's like, wow, this is the family this is the family I never knew I needed to have. This is a career I never thought I'd ever enter in. And I'm doing a service to the public that made such a noble impact in their lives. Well, we just had sadly a mother bury her 21-year-old son. Something that every parent should never do, right? But sadly, she's burying her son. Well, guess what the 21-year-old son did, because he came into our mix and he got educated about money, not by the guidance of his mother, but because we coach him and guide him to buy an insurance policy for himself. Sadly, he passed away. Only God knew when that was going to happen. But he's leaving his mother behind a $500,000 check. Not to say that's going to replace his son, but it definitely does somewhat ease the pain. And so the other siblings are now able to do other things that mom and dad could not have done. So the nobility of what we sell, a real estate license helps people in the best times of their life, but a life insurance license helps people financially during the worst times of their life.
Yeah. Powerful. Yeah. I can feel the desire to help people, to give us gain, right? Paying it forward.
Yes, that's it.
So you said about your Rolls Royce there, mate. Congratulations. Inspirational. Good for you. Tell us about
Comes
your
from
journey.
Your country.
Tell us about your journey, please. You come out of the military, you come into this industry. I know you've been through a divorce before. I heard one of your interviews.
Sure.
Tell me about your story. How did you go, and where are you now, please? Because when you talk, you make talking. Sometimes I hear some people, some American guys, I'll be totally honest. I look at them for ideas and inspiration, and they speak about money, and I don't think I can talk like that about money, because it might make me look a little bit flash, a bit arrogant, a bit big-headed. But when you speak about it, mixed with your faith, which we'll discuss in a moment, it seems very real, like you've worked hard for it. You speak it with such humility. But I'd love to hear your journey about what you've achieved and what you've done.
When I come out the military, in 1 year, Lee, I got married, I got divorced, had a kid, filed bankruptcy.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my motivational year of transformation, right? And so when I'm going through that process, thankfully, a recruiter from an insurance firm reached out to me. And he asked me, what are you going to do for the rest of your career? And I told him, I said, listen, I love the Marine Corps. I'm going to do my 20 years. I'm going to retire. But deep down inside, man, I'm crying. So he gives me his card. And for 3 months, I just kept his card in my breast pocket of my uniform. And I was attempting to call him every day. I never did. Why? Because I felt, I don't have a college degree. I don't have a sales background. I don't know anything about financial services. I don't know any rich people. So so maybe we talk about, I don't like sales. Well, I was selling myself out of it.
Yeah.
So I knew I was good in sales because I was buying it.
Yeah.
And so thank God, the power of follow-up. He followed up, found me on the military base, and stops by my house later on that night and shows me the insurance industry. And all I saw was freedom, control of my schedule, latitude to pick up my kids, spend time with my kids, travel the world the right way, not have to go somewhere else in the world and kick somebody's butt. You know what I mean? And so I saw that dream. And so when I entered the insurance industry, stumbled. The thing I didn't have early on in my career, I didn't have a mentor. Wasn't smart enough to have to seek out a mentor. There was no YouTube back in the early 2000s. There was no podcast in the early 2000s. There's no sources where I can find people just like myself who was thinking and feeling the same way. I could never learn from their experience until I read, trade magazines. And, I'm looking at some of the magazines from the insurance industry, look at entrepreneur. The only time I would come across guys is when I read publications. So I was a reader.
Yeah.
I was self-studying. I was reading everything I could about insurance, reading everything I could about business, sales, how to become a better communicator, how to become a better person. And in 3 years, I made my first six figures. And for a lot of people, that's a long time, but I've never made more than $20,000, $30,000 a year in my life, let alone $100,000 a year. And I capped out maybe $350,000, and I was just an individual salesperson, 100% by myself at 130, 140% commission contract, thinking that was the end all be all. And so I was doing that for 10 years, and eventually, Lee, burnout. I'm like, do I see myself doing this for another 10 years? Buying leads and do I see myself, having to do dinner seminars, put ads in the paper, newspaper, and I enjoyed it for the last 10, 12 years, but I couldn't find anybody to replace me. I couldn't find anybody to join force with me and actually do my job until Patrick David actually recruited me and started teaching me systems and processes and the organization of a business. Because I think a lot of individual salespeople are just disorganized because you're chasing the next deal, and you don't put systems and processes in place. And once we got that in place, and PHP uses a network marketing type of style of compensation system where you can recruit a team, you can build a team, and you don't have to worry about your team leaving you for another 5 or 10% commission here because they value the relationship with you and the business they built with you. I think that's what comes what comes along with a network marketing style of compensation system. There's a vested financial interest for people to want to stay together.
Yeah.
Right. And so in a traditional insurance business, there's a vested interest for people to leave you eventually.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why people always are jumping 5 or 10% commission elsewhere. So, but that was my journey. It wasn't until maybe 10, 12 years in that I finally was able to incorporate systems, team building, leadership development. And Lee, since 2012, even though I sell life insurance, I'm currently licensed right now. The last time I actually wrote a policy was 2012. Right. So 3% of our income comes from 100% of our efforts. We're about to cross $2 million in income right now, but the clientele we bring in represent about 3% of our income. The rest is from building an agency, building a business.
Wow, it's amazing! Congratulations.
Oh, praise the Lord! Praise the Lord! Yeah,
praise the Lord! Yeah, fantastic. It's inspirational and really good as well because I'm hearing some things. I'm thinking, I'll try that. We'll do that. Some things you say, and I'm going, well, we're doing that. So that's right. Reassurance, Good. Mentoring. So PBD, he's what a man. And he's your mentor. Yeah. How important is having a mentor to be successful? And are you okay talking about Patrick Bet-David and telling us about your relationship with him and what he's like?
I was referred to him not by a recruiter. I was referred to him by a pastor. And my sister had been working for a church, and the church's boss was this pastor. And Patrick was going to the same church, and guess who Patrick's pastor was? That pastor. So, I was so power of having a relationship in the community for people that may not even be a client or somebody associated with their firm. What Patrick generated was goodwill in the community. He raised a lot of money for the church. He was always accessible to the pastor for anything, and the pastor thought very well of him, enough to refer a lot of people to Patrick, me being one of them. Yep. And so having a mentor is so important. If you think you're it and you don't have anybody challenging you to recreate yourself, you don't have anybody challenging you on how to get better, challenge you on your numbers, then, John Maxwell has the book out there called 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Yeah. And law number 1 is the law of the lid, right? Meaning that you're capped. Yeah. So if you don't have a mentor busting open that cap to the next level and busting open cap to the next level and so on and so forth, because just keep this in mind. If you think you're at the top of your level right now, congratulations. Very few get to the top of your current level. However, with that being said, if you choose to recreate yourself, you'll find yourself at the bottom of the next level. Yeah. And so you got to recreate yourself and get to the top of that next level. And when you find yourself at the top of that next level, guess what? Congratulations. Very few people get there. Well, guess what now? You're now at the bottom of the next level, right? Because, we just believe in, listen, either you're growing or you're dying. You have to be in a constant level of recreation and development, because that's what gives you fire. That's what gives you juice. That's what cracking open your potential is what gets you jumping out of bed every morning. And sometimes when people have reached a certain level, they get bored. Yeah. Why? Because they're not fighting for the next. So Patrick's always talking about me in the next. Matt, what's the next? Boom. What's the next? What's the next? He has a next conversation with me all the time. Yeah. Yeah. And so he's also mentored me with data, because, hey, Matt, this is what you said you're doing, but this is what your numbers are saying you're doing. So Patrick's a math guy. He's a data guy. He says the number one way one of the ways to be a great CEO of your company is you got to be data driven. Otherwise, you're emotionally driven, right? And the numbers will give you logic. So therefore, you're less emotional about the decision you have to make, which for some people is cut and dry, which also causes people to say, no, if I don't improve, the numbers will indicate that I'm not improving, and I got to reconcile that. And that's the journey of entrepreneurship. It just depends on what type of life you want to live and the level you want to play at, and having the clarity about what you want to accomplish in your life. And what we do today is not work. We get to do this. What we do today, we don't have to come to the office. We get to come to the office. And right now, during this pending future recession, we're looking in the next 24, 36, 48 months to add another zero to our net worth. This is the moment to do it. I don't know if this is ever going to happen again. And I'm locking arms with people that are willing to get down and dirty in moments like this. And Patrick Bet-David is definitely leading the way on that one.
Amazing. I love it. So many things I've picked up there. It's not your goals or your dreams that'll fail you. It's your processes. Atomic Habits. Amazing book. Yeah. John Maxwell, right. Fantastic book. The Lid, but New Levels, New Devils. If you're not growing, you're dying. I absolutely love that. Do you feel like recruitment's an important part of growing? Because I think with recruitment, what's important for me is it's the enthusiasm and that energy. Life hasn't chipped away at them yet. They're full of dreams and aspirations. I think that rubs off on you a little bit, doesn't it? And gives you can see yourself in them, Matt. So
yeah, I think it's important because there's going to be talent that's out there. You want the talent working for you. Yeah. You want the talented people working with you, because having talented people in your group, more talented than you, causes you to want to grow too as well, because you don't have their talent. So what you can do is you can outwork them, you can out improve them. Yeah. And so we interviewed a lady by the name of Patty McCord. She was the chief talent officer. Basically, she's HR for Netflix. Amazing. Right? Netflix. And for 45 minutes commute, her and Reed Hastings, the CEO of Netflix, would drive into work every day. And what was the topic of conversation? Who's working at that company? Who's working at that company? Who's working at that company? How do we get them over here? How do we get them over here? How do we get them over here? So if you want a company that's really changing and disrupting in the industry, you have to have talented people on your team. When Steve Jobs, if you ever rewatch the movie again, Jobs, played by Ashton Kutcher. Yeah.
Great fun.
His number one job in creating the Macintosh, the iPhone, his first thing, okay, we're developing a product. Great. What are you doing, Steve? Boom, I'm recruiting. What are you doing, Steve? I'm recruiting. He's recruiting another team.
Yeah.
Because that team brings fresh eyeballs and a fresh attitude. And when people are recruited something, want to be part of something big. So as a recruiter, you got to be able to cast vision for where you're going and a vision for where you see them fitting in this vision. Yeah. And sometimes people don't have a vision for themselves, but they're willing to play ball because somebody helped them create and develop an identity. When you talk about Wolf of Wall Street, his three guys, if you saw that in the movie, his three guys, that one guy that he said, listen, you show me a check that you made $83,000 in a month. I quit my job right now. I work for you. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
And the Asian guy and his other, the three guys that followed him everywhere is because Jordan Belfort didn't necessarily put money in their pocket, but he casted a vision of where they can be in their lives, what the Wolf of Wall Street firm, right? The name of his firm, what they would look like on Wall Street. And they took pride in being the Wolf of Wall Street. Right? They called me the Wolf of Wall Street. Wow, they took pride in that. This is some people that's visionary for them. And so recruitment is so important to a company because if it's the same old people, it's the same excuses. And you put new people in, the new people bring in a new standard, a new expectation where the veterans, like they kind of perk up, like if I don't recreate myself, and you don't have to say that, the way you get them to say that is by you recruiting a new talent in. The veterans come in, like if I don't change, somebody's going to come after my lunch and I won't be the number one person on the leaders bulletin anymore.
Yeah. Important, right? You look at great sports teams, and I think that's a great point of reference because we had Manchester United, Sir Alex Ferguson, a great leader. He was brilliant at just reinventing teams. I think it was Belichick. You recommended watching The Man in the Arena, so I watched that program. I think you was watching it at the Gillette Arena, was it, at the MetLife Arena?
Just right. We took a retreat, went to Gillette Stadium to watch it there in the arena. That's correct.
And they kept on, recreating teams, but the values remain the same. I love the fact that they have old timers in the team because they can be somewhat of a cultural architect. They know what it means to play there. They're part of the DNA, and they can get these new guys to do it the New England way or the Manchester United way, and that's really right because it means something. It's part of your DNA.
Yeah. And I was recruiting too, Lee. I love recruiting because when I get to recruit somebody, I really get to tap into what I'm about because that's what I'm recruiting people towards. And if I'm not squared away in my values and principles and my vision, nobody's going to be recruited by me.
Yeah.
So recruiting people really causes me to want to redevelop and recruit. Because remember, you are just a combination of all the mentors you've had inside your life, and it's expressed to the company building and the people that you recruit.
Amazing. I'm going to say saying now, because you said something before. I don't know if it's yours or you picked it up because you guys do so much reading and so much development. It fascinates me. How you do something, how you do everything, right? So you said that, and I just mentioned it one day in the office, and people went, "What did you say?" That's really genius. I went, "Listen, I can't take credit. This, I got it off my. It's unbelievable." Explain the theory and the thought process behind that, please. It is so true.
I've been frustrated in the recruitment process where I'm recruiting a military veteran, I'm recruiting a professional athlete, I'm recruiting a pastor, I'm recruiting people that operate at a high level. And then when it comes to the field of business, they don't translate that to their business. Like, how are you a war hero? How are you a stud NFL player? How are you a pastor that built a megachurch? But when it comes to business, you suck. I thought you had a lot of faith in your athletic skills. I thought you had a lot of faith in your skills leading people. I thought you had a lot of faith in your ability to study and put it on paper. But when it comes to field of business, now you're exposed. So now that translation of how you do one thing applies to everything. For example, if I'm 100% building my business, but I don't spend any time with my family, I don't invest time with my family, I don't apply the same type of intensity to raising my children, then I find myself hypocritical. If I don't apply the same desire to succeed in business as my desire to pursue the heart of God, I've considered myself hypocritical. If I don't use the same effort to pursue a client as I used to pursue the desires of my wife, I find myself hypocritical. And that, to me, Lee, there's where the balance comes in. That's what people, how do you have balance? Now, you don't have balance as an entrepreneur. You've got integration. But for me, balance is balancing the same type of intensity And anything I put my hand into, my wife, my children, my faith, my company, the people I'm mentoring, our YouTube channel, the people that we have the ability to employ, I got to give them the 100% of me. And if I don't, then I'm in conflict. And if you're in conflict, that's just a decision that you are not really who you thought you'd be. For example, when I'm coming here at PHP Agency, Patrick said, okay, great. You got to recruit and build a team now. I'm like, Patrick, I don't know how to recruit a team. Yeah. I've been a sales guy. I don't know how to sell life insurance. You better realize how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if I can sell life insurance, then I can sell this insurance industry. I just got to learn how to do it. And how this industry has changed my life, and it's how it's changed many other people's lives. The ability of what we do for families, right? So it's same skills effort, just packaged differently in recruiting and building a team. Right? I had to sell my wife. You're going to be married to me. There's a lot more guys out there that are richer than me right now. There's a lot of guys there that are more handsomer than me. There's more guys out there that got 6-pack abs, whatever the case may be, right? There's other guys out there that are more Billy badass than I am. But I want you to know the flip side is true. There's more women out there that's hotter than you. There's more women out there that have a different intellect than you. Great, but I choose you as I've chosen my career. I choose you. I mean, I couldn't have chosen my kids. My kids became my kids, but I choose to be a father. I choose to be a dad. I choose to invest time with them, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that's where the guilt would come in. I would feel guilty if I didn't give my family the same type of intensity and effort as I do my business, because my business isn't more important. My money isn't more important than the people I love and care about. So with that being said, I also have to create rewards for them. Just like I have rewards for my business. My children have a leaders bulletin. My children have rewards. My children know that if they do this, they'll get this, right? Because that's the same way I have for myself and everybody else within inside my company. There's capitalism. I told my children, I don't believe in equal distribution. I believe in equal opportunity, right? So if one of you wants to apply yourself and the other one doesn't, well, the other one, don't be mad when the other one gets a little bit more of a blessing than the rest of you. But you guys can, you tell me what you want. Poppy, don't tell me that. Listen, you understand. When I say something and I actually follow through with it, I hope that creates trust with you, because I have kids that are from 26-year-old to 3 years old. And when I say something, I'll do it. The reason why you don't trust me is because you've challenged me to say something, but you didn't do your part. So I can't do my part. So don't get mad at me that you didn't do your part. I'm willing to come through, but you haven't given me the opportunity. And the same thing I do with my guys here in the business. Don't get mad at me that you didn't get paid, $200,000 this year. I did my part to train you and equip you, to create the right environment for you, but you didn't do your part in terms of picking up the phone and doing your job and following up with people. Can't get mad at me. See, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
I love it. And the fortunes and the follow-up, right? Always.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Always. Do you mind us speaking about, because I took a lot of your time. I'm so grateful for this evening. Well, this evening here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I know.
Can we speak about your faith and money, and give us a few tips about money and how to keep money, how to make it, how rich people think? Because I watch it, I'm just like, wow, that makes sense. You're unconditioning my previous conditioning, and for that I'm grateful. Sure.
When it comes to faith and money, I've traveled around the world. I've saw what Christianity does to people. I saw what the Muslim faith does to people. I saw what Jehovah's Witnesses does to people, Muslim and Jewish. I've seen many different faiths in work and action, and the people that are a byproduct of following that faith. And what I've come to realize, one of these things is, sadly, this might piss off a lot of people, but this has just been my observation. Complete my opinion. You can tear me up as much as you want to tear me up, but this is just my observation, my opinion. That sadly, there's a lot of faiths out there that when it comes to the subject of money is sadly meant to control them, right? It's a completely man-to-man type of control versus a man to higher power type relationship. I'll just speak for my own faith. Christianity. Oftentimes people think it's more holy to be broke, that it's not wise to be rich. It's not wise to invest because God will provide, right? Well, God provided you a financial advisor. God provided you an insurance agent. God provided you a pastor to encourage you to step out in faith. But yet on Sunday mornings, you're, change my life, Lord. Change my life. Change my life. Yet that brings the right people in front of you, but you're like, well, I don't want to change my life. Well, because you're not educating yourself. As much as you educate yourself with reading the Bible, you should educate yourself with your financial literacy. So I've seen this with the Muslim faith. I saw a lot of people not want to buy life insurance because they thought it was against their faith and religion to buy life insurance because interest is, what do you call that? Is haram, right? I saw guys who just turned down insurance because their prophet said it's not good to earn interest. But yet, the irony there, but yet they don't drink liquor, but they can own a liquor store. The irony there is the people that issue banks to the Muslim faith is the Islamic bank. They can charge interest. So wait a minute, they can charge interest, but you can't pay interest as an entrepreneur yourself. So there's incongruencies there, and so you got to look past your pastor, your prophet, your preacher, and you got to look into what the actual Bible says, what the actual word says about money. Correct, right? This is something you got to find out your decisions on this because somebody may have interpreted the Bible incorrectly and you think it's gospel. But God made it here for you. Thank God. Listen, when people were controlled, they did not let people read, teach them how to write. And that's how people were controlled. And so if you say you follow a faith, have you read about your faith? Have you been a student of your faith? Is your relationship more with your creator or the relationship more with man, of which was created by your creator? So I think for a lot of people, they have so many inconsistencies in their faith. They don't realize they believe what they believe. And from a financial standpoint, is keeping them from really experiencing what the world really has to offer and experience what money can really do in their life, because money is not a God. Money is simply a tool. It's currency. It should it should flow. Right? It should flow from one hand to another. And when it flows to and through your hands, it just gets more if you're able to touch it. But there's so many scriptures in the Bible. I believe there's 2,500 scriptures about money in the Bible and only 560 some scriptures about faith and prayer. Kind of tells you how important the subject of finance and handling of possessions is in the Bible. Over 365 scriptures of do not fear is in the Bible. 60%, 80% of the red letters in Jesus' ministry was about money and possessions. The only topic he talked more about was love and forgiveness, right? So it wasn't about religion. It wasn't about church. It was about man's relationship with finances and possessions and what they were able to own and able to create. If you look at the Old Testament, some of the most wealthiest people were people in the church. They had some of the craziest garments, and what King Solomon did to build the tabernacle was just crazy what he used to build the tabernacle. Imported materials from other countries to build the tabernacle. I mean, so don't think that wealth is beyond people of faith. So kind of like my thoughts with faith and money.
I love that. 3 tips for people who want to be wealthy, please.
Number 1, get clear about why being wealthy is important to you. If the last 10 decisions has been about money and lack thereof, then that will add to the clarity. Number 2, you got to be careful of the people that you share your goals and dreams to, because you can't let a $15, $20 hour person kill your multi-million-dollar dreams. And sometimes people justify their desire to be a millionaire. Sometimes people justify the fact that they want to be financially independent to people that never want to be that way, and they talk them out of it. Next thing you know, 5, 10 years goes by and they're no more better than they were when they first had that dream into their heart. And the third one, if you really want to get ahead financially, you got to listen to the right podcasts like this one. You got to listen to the right people in your ear. You got to follow a proven method. Getting wealthy today it's not rocket science. It's not a hidden secret. It's not taboo. It's all over the internet. It's all over YouTube. How to get wealthy, how to get money working for you. I think today, this day and age is really what your impact and what your purpose is all about, and what that wealth can serve to fulfill that purpose, to fulfill that dream. Again, money is simply just a tool. And I want to make sure that this tool is the biggest tool, the baddest tool that my family and everybody that carries on my lineage, my last name, is able to utilize to fulfill their goals and dreams of future Sapaulas down the road. And who knows, might run across and overlap some Flanagans down the road too as well. Who knows? Maybe a Sapaula overlaps a Flanagan one day. Who knows? It brings our world that much closer together.
Let's do it. PHP bespoke collaboration. The best of America, the best of the UK. Together we're stronger, right?
That's it. 100%.
But we took a lot of your time. One book to recommend to people to read if they want to be wealthy, please, apart from the Bible.
The one that really changed my life, I'll give you the top 3 ones. Number 1, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you haven't read that book yet, there's a surprising amount of people that have not read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was released in 1996. It's considered the number 1 personal financial book in America because it's 2 mindsets, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Because he was raised with his dad, he considers poor dad. But he was around his buddy's dad, he considers rich dad. So it gave me freedom to release myself and say, okay, I can't get rich. I can't get wealthy. There's nothing wrong with it then. That's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The second one is then how you think things is how you see things, and how you do things is how the results that you get. That's T.R. Ecker's book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So you mentioned that earlier in the podcast. And the third one, I'm a little biased here, but you got to read Your Next 5 Moves by my CEO, my mentor, because the first step, by the way, is how to get clarity. We talked about clarity earlier. First step is how to get clarity. The 5th move is power moves that you got to make. Because I asked Patrick, what do we got to do? What type of work necessary? Do we double down our work ethic during this next pending recession? He says, Matt, it's not the work ethic. That goes without saying. You're going to work hard no matter what. But it's the moves that you make. You gotta be concerned about the moves, the people that you partner with, the people that you negotiate with, the people that you have in your life. Those are your moves. The deals you say no to, the deals that you say yes to, those are the moves. That will add another 0 to your net worth if you make the right moves. So Your Next 5 Moves is written by Patrick Bet-David, Wall Street Journal, #1 book, bestseller.
Amazing book. Amazing book. Your book released soon. Can we learn about that, please?
Yeah, a title to be announced here shortly. We're just finalizing the cover. But August 10th, stay posted. August 10th, we'll be releasing a book at our national convention in Las Vegas, August 10th. So it's a book about faith, about money, about a journey of recreating yourself. It's a little bit about my story and my 5 pillars that I express and utilize throughout my life to help me get to where I am today.
Congratulations, mate. Where can people find you if they want to follow you on social media, please?
Website, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere is Money Smart Guy. MoneySmartGuy.com. Money Smart Guy on TikTok, Money Smart Guy on Instagram, Money Smart Guy on Facebook, everywhere, Money Smart Guy. That is me. And by the way, I do not DM you to get you invest in Bitcoin or Forex. Those are scammers. So I don't DM you asking for money or a credit card. And by the way, Lee asked it. I've got nothing to sell you right now. So if you're thinking that I'm going to sell you a mastermind or coaching program, I got nothing to sell you. Sure. And maybe my videos to this point, and maybe my future book can help you out. But I guess we'll all find out here in the next couple months.
You are a really nice man. I've got a lot of respect for you, man. Thank you so much for your time. I'd like to wish you and your family, your business, nothing but all the best. You're a really great guy. Thank you.
Vice versa, Lee. I appreciate it. And congratulations on being the first to interview me in England.
Thank you so much. Matt Sapaula, what a legend. Thank you so much for listening to the Little Bricks podcast. Take care. Bye.
Join the award-winning team at Bespoke Financial, where you get free training in your own time.